Jennifer Williams bought Starbucks coffee believing it was ethically sourced. She just filed a lawsuit exposing chemicals banned by the EPA. Williams isn't alone. David Strauss from New York joined her. They're representing thousands of consumers across Washington and New York states. The lawsuit filed January 13th, 2026, alleges Starbucks deceived buyers with promises printed on every bag. But here's what makes this devastating. Independent testing found methylene chloride in their decaf, the same chemical the EPA banned from paint strippers, because it causes cancer. And it gets worse. The farms Starbucks certified as ethical had workers rescued from modern slavery. Here's exactly what investigators discovered. Williams paid premium prices. She trusted the certification on the package. Starbucks created its Coffee and Farmer Equity program in 2004. It's supposed to verify ethical labor and environmental practices. But in August 2022, Brazilian labor inspectors rescued 17 workers from Mess's farm. 3 were minors aged 15, 16, and 17. The workers lacked basic harvesting tools, no chemical toilets. They relieved themselves in the coffee fields. Mess's farm was CAFE certified. Starbucks admitted the farm was certified, but never explained if that certification was suspended. This isn't one farm. Violations spanned 4 countries across multiple years. But the chemical discovery is what makes this truly alarming. Independent testing arranged by the plaintiffs in January 2025 detected 3 volatile organic compounds in Starbucks decaf Hess blend: methylene chloride, benzene, toluene. In 2024, the EPA banned methylene chloride from paint strippers and industrial use. It's linked to liver cancer, lung cancer, and neurotoxicity. But the FDA still allows it in food, up to 10 parts per million. The agency calls this risk essentially non-existent. Environmental groups disagree. They've filed petitions demanding a total ban. Here's why this matters. Many people choose decaf for health reasons: pregnant women, heart patients, people trying to reduce caffeine. They're unknowingly consuming a chemical banned from paint removers, and Starbucks never disclosed it. Now, here's where the labor violations get catastrophic. In 2018, workers at Futura Farm faced degrading conditions: housing covered in mold, infested with insects and rats, dead bats in their water tank. Futura had been CAF certified since 2016. In 2022, Brazil's labor prosecutor filed complaints against Coexchupi, its Starbucks' largest supplier in Brazil, providing 40% of their Brazilian coffee. Workers forced to carry loads over 130 pounds, shifts lasting 17 hours. Guatemala tells a darker story. Investigators found children under 13 working 40 to 50 hours per week on 3 CAF-certified farms. In China, Labor Watch documented child labor, excessive hours, lack of protective equipment, exposure to hazardous chemicals. Mexico's indigenous coffee farmers described being trapped in abusive labor practices and systemic marginalization. All on farms Starbucks certified as 100% ethical. But here's the part nobody talks about. Steve Berman from Huggins Berman Law Firm investigated the certification process. CAF practices inspectors don't conduct off-site worker interviews, they don't contact regional unions, they don't check with Brazilian labor departments. This means inspectors miss the information sources most likely to reveal abuse. Watch this pattern. Farm gets cited for violations, keeps certification for 12 to 18 months, sometimes longer. This isn't the first lawsuit. In January 2024, the National Consumers League sued Starbucks over identical claims. In August 2025, a D.C. judge denied Starbucks' motion to dismiss. The case moves forward. Starbucks prints Conservation International's logo on packages. This creates the impression of independent oversight. But when violations surface, Starbucks says they're deeply concerned and will investigate. Then they continue buying from the same suppliers. You pay premium prices for ethical sourcing. Starbucks coffee costs more than competitors specifically because of these claims. The lawsuit argues consumers paid inflated prices based on false promises. Starbucks responded, "We firmly believe these allegations are inaccurate and misrepresent our sourcing practices." Williams and Strauss want damages, restitution, and most importantly, an end to the deceptive practices. They're seeking to represent all Washington and New York consumers who bought Starbucks coffee based on ethical sourcing claims. The courts are taking this seriously. One federal judge already denied Starbucks' attempt to dismiss similar claims. Here's what nobody's talking about. So that's why Jennifer Williams filed this lawsuit. She paid premium prices for ethical coffee. Independent testing found banned chemicals. Certified farms had child labor and modern slavery. This isn't about one company making one mistake. This is what happens when certification systems fail. When third-party logos mean nothing. When 100% ethical sourcing becomes marketing instead of accountability. You trust certifications because you can't visit every farm. You can't test every chemical. You rely on companies to tell the truth. And when they don't, lawsuits like this are the only way to force transparency. The question isn't whether Starbucks will settle. The question is whether any certification can be trusted again.